Hey everybody, it's Jim from Slick Audio. Um, today's topic is inexpensive interfaces. I know we have cheap interfaces listed on the video, but it is inexpensive interfaces. As I said in my microphone thing, the whole idea, the word cheap implies crappy quality. And that is not what I want to discuss because I don't like anything of crappy quality. I think it has to be good quality and inexpensive, so therefore inexpensive works. So let's just dive right into it. Now, by no means, since some asshole will pick on this every time, which they always do, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not getting every brand and every interface in here. I don't have until tomorrow afternoon, 12-hour or 15-hour or 25-hour video. So how about let's just keep this real simple and short, and I'm going to stick to general types and brands and that sort of thing and general specifications. It is by no means supposed to be a comprehensive list, but it is a start for those of you who are beginners. If you're not a beginner and you have some expert opinion on this, keep it to your bloody self. Thank you. So let's talk about what we should be talking about, and that is inexpensive interfaces. So glasses have to go on, guys, because I need to see. I can't remember everything anymore. So we have, several different types. Let's go over the types of interfaces again. So if we have USB, which is probably the most prominent and the least expensive of the bunch. It is the slowest of the bunch, but there are a few exceptions to that rule. So let's shelve that for a minute because USB has really taken on a whole different world since the last video that I did about this topic a year or two ago. Then there's Ethernet interfaces or audio over Ethernet, so Dante, AVB, that sort of thing. Keep in mind, folks, AVB is a Mac only protocol, so therefore I don't give a crap about it. Sorry for those of you who are fans. Don't care. I don't care how good it is or how good you think it is. It just doesn't matter to me. Unless you're talking to both platforms, it's irrelevant. So being that the case, so Dante or Focusrite's RedNet, which is a Dante, derived protocol. It's audio over Ethernet anyways. That shit's the most expensive, so I'm going to leave that completely out. So we're not going to be talking about AOE. I don't know why I just wasted 2 minutes of your time on that. We have FireWire, which is a dead protocol. It's been dead for years. Do they still sell a couple out there? Yeah, why? I have no freaking clue. So I'm not even going to talk about them. It's dead. Good luck finding a laptop, for example, that has FireWire. You can't. So that's dead. So that leaves one more, and that's Thunderbolt. So guess what we're talking about today? Thunderbolt and USB. So I'm going to start with USB, and I am going to be looking over here because I'm referencing crap that I have on my screen. I almost said the word shit. No, it's shit that I have on the screen. So, let's talk about some general brands. We have Focusrite, of course, which makes their Scarlett series. Those things start at a little over $100. And man, they're great interfaces. And of course, they go up in price from there. Now, these are USB interfaces, so let's just talk USB only for the moment. And the cheaper ones obviously are USB 2.0. So now there's USB 3.0 and now USB-C interfaces. So PreSonus, for example, has a new line of USB-C interfaces out, and I haven't gotten to play with one of them yet, but we will be shortly. And the USB 3 interfaces, I'll use it just the top ad here, the 192 from PreSonus. CD 192 is a USB 3 interface, and that pretty impressive interface in its own right. So anyways, so we've talked about Focusrite. We've just mentioned PreSonus. Here, the 1824C would be a $500 USB-C interface. So if your computer has USB-C, that would be an interesting alternative to a Thunderbolt interface. So I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more and more and more and more and more of that. And actually, there's cheaper ones like the 1810C, for example, is I think a $400 interface. Excuse me. So Focusrite, PreSonus. Who else do I want to mention? Tascam. Apogee is now making some. For those of you who don't know this, I will tell you. Apogee used to be a Mac only until this year, and guess what they're doing? They're changing the Windows. Cool. So, Apogee, welcome to the real world, and the dark side, man, and not the fruit. I'm ripping on Apple today just because, well, I can. I have a license. I really do. It's called the phone that we're recording on, and I have an Apple phone. It's a piece of crap, but hey, whatever. It's you know. So see, I did buy an Apple product. It just sucks. So that being the case, let's just continue talking about what I'm supposed to be talking about. So Apogee makes a series of Windows interfaces now in the USB world. They do a Thunderbolt, I believe, and so some pretty cool stuff. Steinberg, who can forget Steinberg? I mean, they have the new ones, guys, with the new Rupert Neve pre's in them. If you haven't seen them yet, they're freaking brutal, absolutely brutal, and very, very, very low cost. M Audio, great organization, and has a good product. You know, of course I mentioned PreSonus. I'm going to mention them again. You can't beat the dollar. You know, the price for what you get out of PreSonus. I mean, they're giving you a copy of you know, of the light version of Studio One, which is an insane program. They're giving you some VIs. I mean, it's again, value. You know, it's all about value add. You know, Behringer, I'm not a big fan. Just sorry, you know, I don't mean to insult anyone that's got a Behringer, but you know, its stuff is that's cheap. I'll leave it at that. So you know, I think you're better off spending your money on the PreSonus, Steinberg, Focusrite. You know, I mentioned Apogee just because the costs are. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking. The costs are definitely on the lower side there. Let me look and flip over here. iConnectivity is a company that we resell. They have some inexpensive interfaces. I've never heard them yet, but I've used their MIDI interfaces, the MIO to be exact, and that's an incredible, absolutely incredible device. So food for thought there. Motu, we already mentioned about them. They've got some very interesting products that are out. Here's a company now that I'm going to mention that I think needs to be mentioned, and that's RME. RME just has literally impressed the daylights out of me. We have some of our Jesus Mary, I can think, endorsees are endorsed by RME and run RME. Alex Argento, Alex is an awesome guy, and Virgil Donati, another great friend, great guy. Just, you know, so they're using RME, and man, I'll tell you, it prompted me to go out and get an RME interface. Actually, two of them. I'll tell you what. Those guys are doing some freaking magic with USB. So remember when I said there's some exceptions to the rule, and I wasn't even talking about the USB-C stuff, the USB 2 world? RME, let's just say, has baked some magic into their product and their whole chipset, their whole chips, the drivers, and the way it interfaces with the computer. I'm telling you what, man, they're sick. They're absolutely amazing. Now, they are not the most inexpensive in the world. I didn't say cheap, I said inexpensive. They carry a price tag. They start at like $500, but I'm here to tell you, worth every stinking penny. That's a whole different world when it comes to speed, latency, and USB interfaces. So if latency is of major concern to you and you do not have a large budget, you cannot beat the RME stuff, period, the end. But you know, it's a little pricier. It's a lot, you know, than the other products that we had talked about previously. I could talk. Let me see here. Let's now shuttle over just for a brief moment and talk about Thunderbolt. So Thunderbolts, and I apologize for looking at the screen, guys. I just need to, you know, that's my notes. I don't carry paper. It's on the screen, you know. So Thunderbolt interfaces, there are a couple of cheaper ones out there, but for all intents and purposes, we're talking about Universal Audio, Apogee, Mark of the Unicorn, Motu, and Focusrite, and PreSonus. So they're for the most part the big ones. I mean, there's some other ones. Slate's got one out now, and Lynx has some out, and the like. But we're getting into some big dollar items, so those things are going to start. Again, you can get some of the cheaper ones, like Zoom makes one. I stay away. It's not really their forte. Sorry if anybody's got one. I apologize, but I don't apologize. So we're looking at really a $500 bill and up for Thunderbolt. So let's talk about why would you want Thunderbolt over generically a USB. Thunderbolt writes directly to RAM and does not need to process, and I'm keeping this very generic and very simple. So is it verbatim? So for your electrical engineers out there, if you really want to talk deep about this, call me and I'll be glad to. But for right now, let's just keep it simple, because this is for the noobs. It's not for the electrical engineers of the world or the experts in audio. It's for folks that are looking for guidance. So we're starting about $500, and you're talking about a device that could write directly to memory, as opposed to having to use the CPU exclusively to make every single write. Why would that matter? Well, think about it. You're freeing up your CPU quite a bit to do other stuff. That's a technical term. And the end result is you end up usually with a better product overall. Now, again, that's not an end-all be-all. It is a generic rule of thumb. So look, Universal Audio. Why would you want to use a UA interface? UA has their own suite of plugins, and the Universal Audio Apollo devices have DSP built on board. And those plugins only work with their DSP. And the cool thing about it is with DSP, digital signal processing, it actually runs the plugin as opposed to letting your CPU run the plugin, therefore freeing up your CPU for other stuff. Hey, technical term again. So, there's merit for that. I mean, I know when I'm doing vocal tracks, I want to hear some reverb and some delay in my voice. The more of that stuff, more technical, that you put in your DAW and try to run it through as a true plugin, non-DSP plugin, it increases the latency. It just does overall. It's the nature of the beast. Whereas when you run something like this, and again, exceptions to the rule, but I'm talking about general rule of thumb here again. It's pretty cool that you get to run plugins and with near zero latency. There's no such thing as zero latency. Everybody will say, "Oh, it's zero latency." Bullshit. There's no such thing. It may be extremely low, but it's not zero. So that's a sizzle for UA. Now there's other applications like Motu and RME, and those guys. They all have their I'll call it like their mix. They have like a mix bus. It's a shell. So think of it as a DAW before you get to your DAW, and it's basically a mixer that is hardware driven, and you can do what's called latency free monitoring. Again, there's no such thing as no latency. It's just extremely low. But so inaudible latency, that'd be probably a more proper term, right? Here we go, inaudible latency. And the reality of it is you're just going through the device. The device is putting the plug in itself, and it's running it right on the device, and then you can monitor it and sing and do your magic and have fun, and you end up with a near perfect scenario. So that is the way that a lot of these companies are doing workarounds. So again, generically, don't hold me to every single name. Motu is doing that. RME does that for their interfaces, all of them. Universal Audio obviously does that, just in a slightly different way. Focusrite, not really. Look, I run Focusrite in my own studio, and it's short-lived. It's gonna be for sale soon, actually. Not that it's not bad stuff. Sounds awesome, but it's just different. Mine's all RedNet, so anybody's interested in a whole RedNet setup, I'm gonna have that for sale very shortly. But yeah, so there those applications that that will help you run and really keep a near latency free here. There's another way to put it. Near latency free monitoring while you're attempting to sing or play guitar or play drums or keys or whatever the hell you do to create music. So so to recap, to keep this generic, you know, again, we have USB, which are going to be the least expensive interfaces. If you want to stick with a company like, well, very specifically RME, RME is going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. But you know, they start at that, you know, roughly $500 price point, so $500-600. So they're not cheap. They're not you know, overly inexpensive, but for what you get what you pay for, right? So it is what it is. It doesn't mean the other interfaces are bad. So you know, we have again the Motu. In Motu world, we have some great products. They have some very good USB 2. They have the hybrids, like the Hybrid Mark III is USB 2 device, and I think FireWire. They also have like the 624 that I've got sitting here on my own computer. That is a Thunderbolt and USB 3, yeah, USB 3 interface, and that's a nice little interface. Their latencies are a little rough, but you know, still, I mean, it's a great little device to record with. I mean, you know, shit, I own one for this my work machine. It works great. So yeah, you know, there's some good stuff out there. Presonus, you know, Lord have mercy, the 192. If you get your paws on one of them, or the new USB-C interfaces from them, I mean, hell, they start at $400, $399. Can't beat that with a stick, and you're getting you know, pretty much Thunderbolt. Almost Thunderbolt, you know, performance out of that. It's not Thunderbolt because it's not writing directly to RAM and all that other fun shit. But nonetheless, it's very fast. And you know, of course, you have, you know, Focusrite's USB interfaces and whoever the hell else I'm missing at this point, which I know I'm missing some. You know, there's a lot of good stuff out there, guys and gals. And, you know, and if you feel like going the Thunderbolt route, of course, you know, there's some fantastic products available there. If you are interested in spending more money and want to do an audio over Ethernet type situation, you're going to spend a lot more money. I would not call them inexpensive by any stretch. Again, I'm leaving AVB out of the equation. It's one of those situations where if you're building a studio, I think you need to analyze what you're building it for. If you're doing it purely for recreation, you know, then you need to set, well, regardless of what you're doing it for, you should always set a budget first. You know, I want to spend 10 grand total. I want to spend 3 grand total. I want to spend, you know, and come up with a total price, because there's a lot of crap that you got to buy to be able to put a studio together. Quite honestly, 3 grand is unrealistic to put any studio together. And some people are going to argue that, oh, you could definitely do that. Yeah, you could. Question is it going to be worthwhile or even usable? Probably not. Not, at least not in my eyes. But nonetheless, set a budget. Stick to that budget. So, you know, you can be easily taken over and oversold. Don't be oversold. Don't be undersold. You know, get the best quality you can for your budget. I mean, that's the whole point of trying to do this. And you should be talking to an expert when you're you know, looking at this stuff. But by all means, go look, because you might find something in, you know, in a I don't know, in a Presonus device that tickles your tail. You know, and that's just something that you got to have. Okay, well, great. You know, then we work around the interface and put a, you know, PC together for you that'll work best with that particular interface that you have, and you know, and then get some microphones and all the other fun shit that you need to buy to be able to do what you do. And I promise you, you'll have a ball. You do not need to spend a fortune to do this. You can do this at a very, very, very reasonable budget and a very reasonable price. But again, reasonable to you may mean different than reasonable to me. So keep that in mind, and it's best to call and we can help you. And if you're so interested in buying an entire package, I can certainly help you in pricing for all that stuff, technical term again, put together. So PC interface, microphone, all 9 yards. So, you know, we could definitely give you a nice packaged price. And there's, we had talked internally about putting some of those packages out on our website, and I'm not saying we never will, but the tough part about that is because there's so many, it's so personal. We'd have 1 million of them, and somebody'd still ask for the 1,000,001th. So therefore, we're wasting our time, and I don't want to waste my time. My time's worth money too, and as is yours. So now that I've wasted enough of your time, hopefully it wasn't wasted. We are going to be at NAMM, Summer NAMM, and we know our booth number, 327. So we're actually in a fantastic spot this year, next to the PreSonus guys again. Chris, remember who else we were near? So some huge names, and man, I'm embarrassed. But I glanced at it last night when our NAMM rep
showcase.
We're literally right next to the showcase, in front of the showcase. We have a corner booth. Oh, bloody hell, I can't, I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, we're next to some fantastic companies, great neighbors, and very, 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 very much looking forward to hanging out with them. Avalon, that's one of them. I think they're 2 doors up from us. If you've never heard their preamps and channel strips and compressors, you really need to. They're sick, crazy stuff. But anyway, so there's just so much good stuff at Summer NAMM. If you're planning on being in the area, Nashville area, and you want to stop in, we do have extra passes that we can give you. But you need to call us, not email, not text, not all that bullshit. Pick up the phone and call and talk to us as a human. And hey, we might be able to get you in the door if we like you. If we don't, you can go F yourself. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. I'll get yelled at for that. Chris is going to yell at me for that. So Steve's going to yell at me. They're all yelling at me for that.
Say hi to Alex, who's on here.
Alex, brother, how are you, man? So, yeah, Alex, we need a new Ice Fish CD. I'm waiting for you to type something and so I can respond to it. I'm jonesing for a new Ice Fish CD. I'm tormenting Virgil already. I know he's still working on his project, but we need a new Ice Fish CD. So Marco, if you're out there too, they're now. All right, soon. Just throw me something here, Anywho, yeah, there's some fantastic stuff coming from Slick Audio. Oh, by the way, we do have a new our M580 is out. So what we used to call our mobile machines, we're now calling mini me's. Dr. Evil's around the corner, but it's now a 4-core quad core. i5 or a quad core i7, which really means 8 cores, when you talk hyper-threading. So the 560, 570s are dead. I'll be honest, the 570s I never cared for. Just didn't like them. Now, understand, guys, they're all NUC-based machines, all right? So I am going to touch base on that just briefly for a second. NUC is a platform. I know I've said this before, but we have people constantly that are badgering us about those machines and talking about how they can buy them cheaper on Amazon.com. No, you freaking can't. And the reason why you can't is because what you're buying on Amazon is a freaking kit. And you still have to add all the shit inside of it, including your Windows 10 license, dumbass. So you're not putting them together cheaper than we can. You might put it together for close to the same price, but with us, you get warranty and tech support for a long, long time. And when you do it yourself, well, you own it, ass. So that being said, the NUC is a great little platform for somebody who needs something in their bedroom or on a tour bus. I mean, that was the whole idea we did this. We did it for an endorsee friend of ours, Kim Tibbs, that needed something for tour bus and that was, semi-mobile but didn't want a laptop. So bingo, she has a big 50 some odd inch television, in the tour bus. Well, why the hell wouldn't you take advantage of that, right? And so you got this little 4x4 inch machine, that plugs into that, and hell, it's like her working in a big studio. She's in the back of her tour bus, and she could at least put scratch tracks and that kind of stuff down. I mean, you're not putting final tracks down on that stuff, but they're great little boxes. They have a purpose in life. You know, is it an end all be all? No, nothing is, right? Yeah, our 4200s are. So, as Alex calls them, the Terminators, the Terminator machines that kill everything. So, and thank you, Alex, for that, by the way. You guys are going to notice we're going to have a new website coming out soon. I know I'm getting long-winded, I apologize, but we have a new website, revamped website's coming out soon, and we do have the old logo is still still our logo, but we have a new logo that we're augmenting along with this, and Alex Argento from the band Icefish was kind enough and gracious enough to design that for us, and my God, it looks beautiful. So you know, we are going to be using both. That was a Jim decision all the way. I'll take the blame for that, but there's multiple reasons, guys, from a business standpoint. But anyways, you're going to see that on the new website, as well as the old logo or the main logo. And it's really cool what he did. I mean, the man is so talented, it's ridiculous. So if you haven't heard the band Icefish yet, you really need to go check them out on YouTube and then buy the damn CD. You need to support these people. For those of you who don't buy your music, can I say it, Chris, please? Please? He's saying no. Fuck off. I don't care. You know, you buy your music. Buy music. Screw this streaming crap. Buy it. But check it out. You know, when you hear them live, they have several videos out there from a concert they did in, I believe, Poland. And oh my dear God, it's just, it's mind-boggling how those guys do what they do. They're crazy. It's just crazy good. So you haven't checked them out, check them out, and then buy the damn CD. So, all right, I'm done. Booth 327, Summer NAMM, Nashville. Want tickets? Call. If you don't want tickets, you're going to show up anyway because you already have a ticket. Great. Stop by the booth 327. You know, we're definitely going to have some Nashville barbecue and relax, chill out with our friends that we know down there, the folks at Adam Audio, Adam Shepard, that whole crew. So wonderful folks down there, and love going down to that city. It's just a great place, a lot of fun. Hope the interface video did its job and at least gave you some generic insight into some different brands. I know I didn't give models or very few models, and that's okay. There's just too many to name. Although for motor mouthing that I've been doing, I could have done probably half of them already. But anyways, such is life. Call, we can help you. Go search yourself and get an idea, and then call, and we can help you. Chat on our site, and we can help you. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and that is Eastern time. So right now we're in daylight savings. You know, soon then another 5 months, 6 months, whatever the hell many months is going to be standard, but we're 9 to 5. So if you try texting, chatting us at 9 o'clock at night Eastern, we're not going to answer you. Sorry, we have lives too. But that doesn't mean that one of us idiots aren't doing nothing and that we won't answer a chat. So somebody may. It doesn't hurt to try, right? And worst come to worst, you send it and it'll send an email and we will get back to you the next morning, I promise. Cheers, be good, God bless, stay out of trouble, and well, that's no fun, but stay out of trouble anyways. And we'll have another video next week talking about something else, and I don't know what the hell that's going to be, but we'll find out. Be good. Cheers. Take care.